Israel has done the strategic strike in Qatar, again, going after Hamas leadership. The Qatar government not happy with Israel at all.
Very targeted precision airstrikes against Hamas leadership in Doha, the capital of Qatar, and they appear to be successful.
Qatar has been home now, though. Do we know it's sort of the negotiating platform, the place where they have been going to have these meetings between Israel and Hamas to try to get things handled, or Hamas and third-party entities to get things handled. And now it has gotten to their soil.
We're waiting on official confirmation of who actually was killed in that strike right now, but potentially, all of the remaining Hamas leaders that outside of the Gaza Strip. Perhaps there's one or two or a few more back in Ankara under the protection of Recep Erdogan. But it's if you look at the last couple of years, what Israel has done in eliminating and just in the last couple of weeks, eliminating most of the leadership of the Houthis. They've done that in Beirut, most of the leadership of Hezbollah, as well as Iran, and during the 12-day war with Iran. So stunning development. It could be a huge impact here on the region, and especially on the cusp of a potential major offensive into Gaza City by the IDF that has amassed 5 divisions, maybe 40,000 reservists to go ahead and take over Hamas's last remaining stronghold.
Over the weekend, President Trump posted on Truth Social just a little bit over a day ago, everyone wants the hostages home. Everyone wants the war to end. The Israelis have accepted my terms. It is time for Hamas to accept as well. I have warned Hamas about the consequences of not accepting. This is my last warning. There will not be another one. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Signed, President Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Then reportedly, Hamas had said something to the effect of, this is an idea, a concept. This isn't an offer per se. We know that Steve Witkoff as well as Jared Kushner were both in Qatar, expecting to have some at least direct or indirect talks with these leaders of Hamas. Many leaders of Hamas had actually come into the country of Qatar in order to discuss, negotiate, or even strategize how they can half accept and balk at it later, as they tend to do. And so they were all meeting this leadership in Doha today when this strike happened. Yesterday, we saw that there was this terror attack in Jerusalem. Prime Minister Netanyahu has said that this was a retaliatory attack because of that terror attack, that they took action against the leadership. Why are these leaders in Doha? Why is Hamas able to operate there? It had been for a very long time what seems to, in hindsight, have been a failed policy of even the Netanyahu regimes in Israel of allowing them to have their political arms within safe harbor within Doha, so they could keep an eye on them, keep tabs on them, and the government of Qatar kind of let them live there relatively safe. Qatar, a strong ally in some senses. We have a very large military presence, a base in Qatar.
Many of the countries.
Right. Between Bahrain and Qatar, we have some of the largest military ties to these nations. Although Qatar has a very checkered past when it comes to funding terrorism, allowing Hamas to live there unfettered. And so Israel took what was a bold step today, something they had not ever done. It's about 1,000 miles away from Israel to get to Qatar. It's surrounded on all land sides by Saudi Arabia, and then it kind of juts off the peninsula into the Persian Gulf, and across the Persian Gulf is Iran. So this strike targeted 2 key leaders of Hamas. However, there are reports that there were many more in the building. We don't have full confirmation. There's been some reports from even groups like CNN and some of the outlets within the region that there were effective strikes, that there were members of Hamas taken out. We don't have a full accounting of that yet. But also we know that Qatar itself is very displeased with this because these were airstrikes on their sovereign territory.
Look, if it happened in America, if you think about this, if Israel decided, hey, we're going to conduct airstrikes in the United States to take out, maybe some sleeper cells that are here, I don't think Donald Trump and the United States government will be too thrilled either.
No, and this is what the foreign minister spokesperson in Qatar said. The state of Qatar strongly condemns the cowardly Israeli attack that targeted residential buildings housing several members of the political bureau of Hamas in the Qatari capital, Doha. This criminal assault constitutes a blatant violation of all international laws and norms and poses a serious threat to the security and safety of Qataris and residents in Qatar, as well as it goes on that there's an investigation underway at the highest level and further details will be announced as soon as they are available. So they're not happy.
Pretty strong words.
So.
Understandably, that may be even stronger words than you think, because those are not necessarily saying, how dare they? It's like you took out. Yes, it was leadership in Hamas, but it was in residential areas.
By striking within the capital city of Qatar, as well as that preparation going into Gaza City, could we be seeing, hopefully in some ways, the end of this war as they decimate Hamas with some of the few remaining leaders that they still had?
I think so. I think I would imagine the Hamas fighters right now would be devastated to know that their leadership is gone. Any idea of a deal is probably gone as well, any negotiated deal and any end of the war. If anything, right now, Israel is adamant. Benjamin Netanyahu was saying enough is enough. And I think what happened yesterday morning when 6 Israelis were killed and dozens wounded was one of those things that may have precipitated. In fact, that's what they made a statement of, that this was a decision that they were going to eliminate the top leadership of Hamas. And it looks like they may have done that. Still waiting official confirmation. But what many people may remember, on October 7th, there was a famous or infamous video of the top leadership of Hamas inside Doha, led by Ismail Haniyeh, who was eliminated in Tehran. They were watching the video by Al Jazeera of the literally October 7th in progress and rejoicing. And most of all the men that were rejoicing that day may have been eliminated today.
We know the very complex history of Qatar with their funding of terror and harboring Hamas. However, they also are a military ally with the United States, as we have a large military base there. Do you think this could add a pressure or pain point within the Middle East going forward, or will it return to relative status quo after this?
Well, I think it would be expected that Doha would really object to what happened today. And I would say, add that there's many other nations around the region that have condemned it. I would say nations like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, even Jordan may be condemning this, but privately glad that Hamas, which is birthed by the Muslim Brotherhood, that is an enemy of many of these nations, they're privately glad that this is happening.